What is the definition of government? Why is it important to know what the definition of government is? Why is it important to American citizenship? It's important because we get caught thinking that our citizenship, our role as a citizen, stops or is limited to a federal level voting. That's about it. Most of us probably think that our citizenship stops with voting or school boards, which none of those are bad, but we think that it's limited to that. And our citizenship and the definition of government goes a lot deeper than that. Our responsibilities go a lot deeper than that. In 1828, Noah Webster's dictionary defines government and citizenship probably a lot different than the way you think of it now. And it's important to go back to Webster's 1828 definition because this is 50, 40, and 30 years after the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. And languages and definitions give us a real good idea of our roles. The definition of government, according to Noah Webster's dictionary in 1828, not that long after the creation of the country, is defined as control and restraint. If you were in a spelling bee in 1828 and you asked for the word government to be used in the form of a sentence, they would say, men are apt to neglect the government of their temper and passions. So the word government, after the creation of the country, was defined as control and restraint of yourself, control and restraint over your temper and passions. And just like all dictionaries, there's an order of definitions. So the first one we just read is control over ourselves. The second one is direction and restraint exercised over the actions of men in communities and states. So it's local. We went from very local ourselves to our communities. And notice that it doesn't say control and restraint over communities. It says direction and restraint over communities. So that even then there's some restriction and there's some boundaries in even what that definition gives. You need to be in control of yourself, but you need to give direction to your communities. Here's a third definition of government. Exercise of authority by a parent or householder. Here's a sentence that it gives. Children are ruined by a neglect of government in parents. We haven't even gotten to the definition of government yet that even remotely involves politics or some sort of federal level of government. First one is self. Second one is your community. The third one is your house, your family, your kids. The fourth definition we finally get to a federal form of government, which is polity in a state and nation. So now we're at a national level or a federal form of government. These are given by order of importance. This is what they considered an order of importance for the word and the term government. So we can change the first institution of government. We can change it today. You can decide how rewards and disciplines are given in the first three forms of government. Over yourself, over your temper and passions, in your communities. Control your house. What does it mean to be a citizen? So after we've found out what government means, what does it mean to be a citizen? During that time, what does that term mean? Same dictionary. The definition of citizen is a native or inhabitant. Here's a sentence it gives. Enjoys freedoms and privileges of the city they reside in. If you go down the order of definitions of citizen, there's a sentence that it gives, and it says, if citizens of the United States are not free and happy, the fault will be entirely their own. Why? Why does it say the fault? It'll be the citizens' fault if they're not free and happy. And there's it's apparent that they knew that when citizens are not in control of their temper and their passions, you can't be free and happy if you're not in control. So in a sense here, there's freedom in boundaries. Everyone's in control of themselves, or that's the hope, that you are in control of yourself, and it provides and produces order in chaos. So after all this, so what? Who cares? Why is this important? Why are these definitions during this time important? And it's mostly important because it means that individuals matter. It means that you by yourself matter. We actually control a lot more than voting or thinking on a federal level. We control our house. We control ourselves. If we're in control of ourselves, we're probably in better control of our house. We raise our kids to be better citizens. Hopefully, we're raising our kids to be better citizens. Hopefully, we know that we don't have it made and that we're not perfect. Me neither. And we work on it every day. A group of individuals collectively that are in control of their self-government makes a country free and happy. It makes the country free and happy, your community free and happy. Individuals collectively working in this way matter. We need to stop thinking that our citizenship is limited to just what we think it is, what we think of it today. It doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop on some federal level or even way up to the state level. This comes down to our responsibility and our order of responsibility. Our order being ourselves first, our communities and our families. And we need to raise our kids to think of government and their citizenship in this way. If the focus did shift to this order of government, these orders of government, how would it change things? How would it change you? How would it change the way that you worked, or that you treated other people, or that you read the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution? How would it change the way you read the Bill of Rights? It is really important to know, to point out and to note the difference of the way government and the way that citizenship is defined today. You can look up these definitions. Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary is online. You can look it up. You can look up those definitions of the way that they thought back then when the country was created, what they considered important. And you can look up the definitions now in Merriam-Webster's dictionary. It's really interesting when you look at Merriam-Webster's dictionary at the top. It says since 1828. And the difference in these is astounding. Here is what we consider the definition of government today. By today's terms, government today is defined as a body of persons that make a governing authority of a political unit. It is not the same. We have gone from restraint and control of ourselves, 1828's definition, to today's definition, which is defined as a body of persons that make a political unit. This should probably change the way you would read any government document today that was written back then. Look at the definition of citizenship. Today's definition of citizenship is defined as a native who owes allegiance to a government and is entitled to protection from it. We've gone from the definition of a citizen that is considered a native and an inhabitant that enjoys the freedoms and privileges. We've gone from that to a native who owes allegiance to a government. And now a government is considered a body of persons. So now we are a native who owes allegiance to a group of people that make a political unit. It's obvious in the outlook of the roles in citizenship from then and now. Citizens, men, fathers, husbands, need to take responsibility and find meaning in what their citizenship means. Me included. If our children, if we even grow up and still grow up and grow old thinking that our citizenship is defined as somebody who owes allegiance to a group of people, we need to shift it. We need to change it. Are you a citizen who owes allegiance to a group of people? Or are you a citizen who is in control of yourself, your community, your children, your household, and ultimately responsible for your freedoms and your happiness? How fast would things change if we, as citizens, collectively shifted our ideas to what the true definition of government is and what it means to be a citizen? If you got in control of your orders of government, your true orders of government, what would change? For the Viral Expedition, I'm Nathan Lewis, Studio Veritatis.